What's up, guys? How's it going? It is Matt here. So we're going to get a little deep and we're getting to a little bit of a philosophy video. Now, a lot of people like these philosophy videos, and there's something that's egging at me that I really want to get out there. So we're going to get into it. What this video is mainly going to be about, guys, is I can best explain it as if you would go to like Amazon or something like that. I think it's on Amazon right now. And if you haven't watched it before, go check out an old movie from Chuck Norris. It is called The Code of Silence, all right? Go check out this movie, The Code of Silence by Chuck Norris over, I think it's on Amazon. Last time I checked, it was on Amazon. Basically, what the movie is about, it is about Chuck Norris is like a leading investigator. He's like a sergeant, or I don't know if he's a lieutenant or something like that, of a detective unit and stuff like that. And there's one guy in the unit that's a drunk and he's on post and he just should not be in the streets anymore. And during a something that goes bad in the very beginning, in the first operation, it goes bad and they're trying to do the best and things happen. This guy who had been drinking prior to it, police officers drinking prior to it, when they're going into a building to try to get to where there's a firefight going on with police and bad guys type of thing, some kid comes running out of the hallway. I remember what it was. This kid comes running out of the hallway and they're walking through a hallway. And this detective that was drunk pulls out his snub nose and he shoots a kid and he kills a kid, a little kid, a young kid. And then when the kid's down on the ground, he takes a gun out of his ankle holster and he plants it on the kid, while that kid's parents saw it and what was going on and stuff like that too. And then his partner, very young guy, kind of a rookie cop, was behind him and he saw the whole thing and it was just egging him. He was just going with the flow, going with he thought was the right thing to do was to ignore it. All right, ignore it. At first, that's what he did. But it was eating at him and eating at him, and he just ignored it and went on because he knew he would get shit from the other cops and stuff like that for calling out this police officer who did a horrible, horrible thing. And then through the events and stuff like that, as it leads up, is the kid finally can't take it anymore. And he's actually partnered up with Chuck Norris because Chuck Norris' partner actually got shot in that same thing, and he's kind of healing up. And he partnered up with Chuck Norris, and he called Chuck Norris out there and he talked to him about it. And then Chuck Norris, he knew something was up, and he knew the police officer should not be on the street anymore. And he was dead set. He's like, this is wrong. This guy is wrong. He should not be on the streets anymore. And he filed a complaint and basically said this guy needs to get taken off the street. And there's a hearing to actually look at the event because the grandmother had saw the entire thing that happened to the kid that was killed and let the police department knew about it. So there's going to be a hearing. Now the problem is all the other police officers were a buddy with the dude that was drunk on the job and planted the gun on him. So they all went with what he said. They all did the exact same thing with what he did, and they refused to help Chuck Norris out in the worst case scenario. Now, we're joking around because Chuck Norris always takes care of himself and kick ass, right? But the point of this, all right, the point of this is you always do what's right, even when nobody is looking. And that's what what Chuck Norris's character was about. He's about being the right cop. Honestly, to this day, I think that was his best movie that he's ever done. I honestly think it was the best movie he ever did. To this day, when I see that movie, I really like that movie specifically because he has Chuck Norris plays this character that is indestructible, all right? Not quite indestructible. He's always indestructible in his movies, but he plays this character that is rock solid. He is rock solid. He knows what's right and he knows what's wrong, and he refuses to do the wrong thing, and he will always do the right thing, even if the world is against him. All these other detectives, they refuse to work with him to protect him, and he almost got killed trying to respond, trying to do the right thing, because these detectives were being jackasses because they wanted to stand behind the other guy. Now the kid, the rookie cop, he finally brought it up to Chuck Norris because he couldn't take it anymore, and Chuck Norris told him the right thing. He said, do the right thing. He basically told him, I don't remember the exact words of the movie, he said, do the right thing, right? And I will back you up 100%. And then they went to the hearing, and Chuck Norris told him exactly that. This guy has been a cop of the streets for too long. He doesn't belong on the streets anymore. He is a danger to the world, to society. And his entire unit, the detectives were all against him. And it almost killed him. However, he continued to do what was right. Continued to do what was right at every single step of the way. Now, I'm not specifically just talking about this movie. I'm talking about a mindset, about a philosophy, okay? For example, I serve with dudes that they're questionable, very questionable guys I serve with, very, very questionable. They were not good people, not good people. And my second tour, there was kind of what was called toxic leadership. There's some bad apples that get together and they start promoting other bad apples and they kind of hang out. It's kind of called what groupthink, okay? When an entire group starts thinking the same way. Anyone that thinks a little bit different is completely outside of their group, and therefore they are the bad person, and everyone is against them. They're going to do everything they can to be miserable or make that person miserable. It doesn't matter if that other person is doing the right thing and they know they're doing the wrong thing, because after all, they're in the group and they're doing what the group does, and that's the right thing to do because that's what the group does, and so that's just the right thing to do. It doesn't matter about morals. It doesn't matter about morality. It doesn't matter about that, because everyone else is doing this. So I'm going to do this too, just because everyone else is, and that's the way to be, is doing whatever everyone else is doing. Now, I've kind of based this channel on that philosophy, on that principle. You can see it in the gun community. You can see it in the political community. It's people that they always trying to make teams. They're always trying to make teams, make groups. They have this groupthink mentality, the same type of thing, the groupthink mentality. What happens is they listen to what other people say, that other people repeated other people, and then just because of, say, if they're a gun person, they automatically assume that they now have to follow that group of people. They now have to follow that group of people, boycott all the stuff that is bad, don't do the stuff that, the group says not to do just because that's what the group says to do, because that's the right thing to do. That's what they think. That's the groupthink mentality. Well, there's people like me that are kind of on the outside of that. They were kind of on the outside of that, and we don't give a shit about the politics. We don't give a shit about that stuff. We're always, no matter what's going to happen, we're going to do the right thing, all right, and we're going to be a good person about it. We're going to do the best thing we can, best in our life. We're going to do everything in our power to be the best person we can possibly be. Now, I'm getting into this, for example, because I'm doing the 10,000 subscriber holster giveaway. The channel's been great. 2 years, this channel has grown, has created this community, all right? I've also met a lot of rude people and a lot of kind of groupthink mentality of people that are in the group. Now, part of the rules of the competition are simple. You have to go to Facebook. You have to like the guy that's making the holsters, Arsenal Archery. John is a good friend of mine. You have to like his stuff because that's where he operates out of, right? That's where he operates out of. That's what he does. And he's a good dude. He's just a damn good dude. The Navy guy, yeah, he's just a downright dude. Him and his wife are just phenomenal people. And they operate out of Facebook, all right? So part of the group, part of the competition is, on top of going to comment on the video, you have to go there and you have to comment on what they're doing on Facebook. And there's a lot of people that are very pissed off at me, that I know, I've seen it in the comments, are really ticked off at me because I'm making them go to Facebook to like a guy that's going to take time, going to put his own personal money. He doesn't get this stuff for free. He's buying this stuff with his own hands. He's going to go out and he's going to buy the materials. He's going to create these holsters, and he's going to help with the giveaway to help these people out. Because he's a good person. That's what he's going to do. He's a great dude. It's great. I almost consider them family when they do that. But these people are so angry because they have to go over there and give the guy thanks. All right, give the guy thanks. Because he's on Facebook, and they don't like the politics of Facebook. They hate the politics of Facebook. They hate the fact that Facebook is against them. They hate the fact that Facebook is trying to censor First Amendment rights. They hate that. It's wrong. You shouldn't be censoring the First Amendment right. But there's something you keep forgetting. Those platforms that are public platforms, all right, they're public platforms, but they're privately owned public platforms. The owners, the people that work in that, also have certain rights, all right? They also have rights to do certain things, which is like the First Amendment rights. They have Second Amendment rights, even if they don't like them. They have all the amendment rights that you and I have, every single one of them that you and I have. Just because they say one thing or they believe with something doesn't mean that they're a bad person, that you need to attack them and be rude to them specifically because of that. Now, I'm not trying to defend Facebook. I'm not trying to defend YouTube. I'm not trying to defend Instagram. I'm not defending any of that. But what I'm trying to get to is these people refuse to go to these platforms and help a good person out. Just help a good person out simply because they don't agree with the politics and they hate it. And their group, the group that they've allied with, the complete group that they've allied with, they made buddies with, tells them that it's wrong, and they got to fit into the group. They got to do whatever the group does. They have to, because that's the group, and that's a groupthink mentality. You got to do what they do instead of doing the right thing and giving some love to someone that's giving love to you guys. Right? That for me, I don't like that. All right? I don't like it when people are like that. The competition will continue to go on. The competition will continue to go on, regardless of what people think. If you're upset that you have to go to Facebook and stuff like that, I don't care. Competition is still going to go on. You're a grown adult. You have a choice. All right? You can choose to do this and participate in the competition, or you can choose not to participate in the competition. All right? You can choose to be a good person, to be a professional, to be a solid person, or you can choose to have that groupthink mentality. All right, you can choose to have that groupthink mentality and completely avoid what the world has become because it doesn't fit along with your group. Now, what I mean with that is the world depends on these platforms. It is what it is. Everyone's on these platforms. Businesses are constantly running off these platforms. It is what it is. That's how modern day society is. And there's a lot of people that get really upset with these platforms and stuff like that, just because these platforms have different views and stuff like that, so they refuse to go to that. Now, that's up to you. If you want to boycott a platform, absolutely, feel free. Boycott a platform doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. But when a good person wants to do a good thing for you and you refuse to be nice to them, you refuse to be a good person to them back because you would rather follow the groupthink mentality and be a dick to anyone else that isn't outside of that, I honestly don't want anything to do with you. I'm telling it how it is, you know, and that's kind of what I base this channel on. I don't really care about the politics. I don't care about how people think about me. I don't care about this other stuff. You do what's right or you do what's wrong, all right? You choose to walk a different path, the path of being the good person. You choose to do that good path, or you choose a different path that isn't, all right? I served with some toxic leadership. Dudes that no matter what they do, they'd beat you just for the hell of it. They would beat you just for the hell of it, just because that's what the group wanted them to do. Even if it was dead wrong, they would still do it anyway. They would still do it anyway, all right? That is not right. There is right and there is wrong, all right? There is right and there is wrong, and there's no gray area, all right? If you want to be a good person, then be a good person. If you refuse to be a good person because the group that you consider yourself part of is against something else and they're strict on that ways, and you don't want to be an outsider because you think it would go against the group, what will you accomplish? What will you accomplish? I mean, honestly, what will you accomplish? It's like the politics. I can't stand politics. That's what most people say. There's left and the right. Me, I look at it as a gigantic circle. It's a circle that is connected no matter what. That's what it is. It's a circle that's connected. There's the left side of the circle and the right side of the circle, and then the farther away you get from that circle, the closer you get to the other side. The closer you get to the other side. And it gets to the point where you're so against each other, you're so against this side, you're so against each other nonstop that you refuse to compromise, you refuse to do anything. Guess what? You are the same damn thing. Doesn't matter what your politics are. You are the same damn thing. There's no, I don't even know how to explain it. I've talked about it before. If you are unwilling to work with other stuff just because their politics are different, and you are so angry and so hateful of like something else or some other group, how do you plan on accomplishing anything? How do you plan on solving any problems? How does any of you plan on solving any problems? If you're trying to fix a sink and the sink isn't working for you, you reevaluate what you're doing and you try to fix it. You pull out the pipes, you reevaluate, okay, I need to look at it a different way and I need to try it again. But if it continually breaks and does not work, if you're continually doing the same thing over and over again, because that's what your group tells you to do, and that's what you think your group tells you to do, is continue doing the same thing over and over and over again, it will be the same outcome every single time. It will be the same outcome every single time. It will be. It absolutely will be. Like I said, you have a choice in life, all right? You have a choice to not cooperate, not to work with people, not try to be good to people, or you have a choice to be the opposite of that. You have the choice to be a good person. You have a choice to try to work with someone. You have a choice to try to solve a problem together. You have a choice to do that, all right? But if you refuse to step across that line, to step outside of your comfort, to try to mingle and try to help and try to educate someone else, if you refuse to do that because your group that you ally yourself with is completely against it and you're just going to do whatever the group does itself, you will never accomplish a damn thing in your life, and you'll always be angry, you'll always be bitter, and you'll have a miserable life. You'll have a miserable life. That is why I hate politics. I hate politics, right? I passionately hate politics. It destroys families, destroys friends. So you need to ask yourself, all right? You seriously need to ask yourself, where do you stand? All right, where do you stand? Are you going to continually bat heads with everyone in the rest of the world and continually be a dick to the rest of the world simply because you don't agree with them, and constantly say that they're the bad things when they're doing the same exact bad things to you? Are you constantly going to keep that division? Do you want that division nonstop? Or are you going to try to step outside your comfort zone and try to actually accomplish something? All right. So, and try to actually accomplish something. Now, that's who I am. That's what I base my philosophy off of. Okay. There's a right way. There's a wrong way. And then there's being professional. There's being a good person. You be the best possible person you can at any given time. Don't follow the group just because a group, especially if a group's fueled by hate and anger and bias or whatever. Don't just follow a group because that's what you think is the right thing to do. Be a good person. The only way we'll change the problems that we have in our country, the only way that will change the division, the only way that will change any of this stuff is to step outside of our comfort zone, all right, and actually try to solve the problem instead of sticking to your side of the problem, continually trying to fix that leaky pipe the same exact way every single time with failure, with constant failure. Every single time you try to fix a pipe, it doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. But you continue doing the same thing. Even if you know for a fact it's not going to work and you know it's just going to get worse and it's going to turn into a bigger problem. You got to approach it differently, all right? Step outside of your comfort zone, step away from the groups, all right? And be an individual, be a good person. Do everything in your power to be the best possible person you can be, whether it's being a dad, whether it's through your job, whether it's through social media, for crying out loud, all right? Be a good person, all right? Don't just follow the crowds, especially if the crowds are fueled by hate and rage and anger, because that's all you ever be. That's all you'll ever be. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about me. Remember, guys, it is our responsibility to take care of each other and protect each other, and I will take that to my grave. Peace.